The cursed shadows of Doi Suthep, witches' wrath and the Skinwalker's hunger. In the late 1800s, the peaceful hills of northern Thailand, near the village of Ban Mae Klang Luang, were perfect for the Yantra family, who had lived there for generations, raising cattle on the outskirts of Doi Suthep Forest. The dense forest was a place of beauty and mystery, but it also held dark secrets. The villagers whispered of ancient curses and vengeful spirits lurking in the trees. The Yantras dismissed such talk until the night their lives changed forever. It started with whispers on the wind. Livestock went missing, and strange markings appeared on the trees, deep scratches as if made by claws too large for any local predator. Kiet Yantra, the head of the family, was the first to notice it. While patrolling the edge of his ranch one evening, he saw a shadowy figure standing among the trees, watching him. It was unnaturally tall, its body contorted in a way that made his skin crawl, and its eyes, they glowed an eerie, sickly green in the fading light. Kiet aimed his rifle and fired, but the shot echoed into nothingness. The creature didn't flinch. Instead, it disappeared into the dense woods, its figure blending with the darkness as though it had never been there. When Kiet rushed to where it had stood, there were no tracks, no signs of anything. But that night, the voices began. The Yantra family heard faint whispers coming from the forest, calling their names, Kiet, his wife Mai, and their two children, Somkai and Nok. At first, they thought it was the wind, but the voices were too clear, too familiar. Nok swore she heard someone calling her in Mai's voice, begging for help. Yet, when she rushed into the house, her mother was inside, completely unaware. The house itself became a place of strange occurrences. Chairs moved on their own, windows slammed shut with no breeze, and cold drafts chilled the rooms, despite the humid Thai nights. Mai often woke up feeling as if someone, or something, was watching her from the shadows in their bedroom. And on more than one occasion, Kiet found strange footprints around their house, human, but twisted, as though the creature was halfway between man and beast. The village elder, a wise man known as Kun Krasai, was called to the Yantra home. After listening to the family's accounts, he grew pale and warned them of a dark presence, a Nang Tarkian, or tree spirit, deeply tied to the cursed woods. But this was no ordinary spirit. This creature had been awakened by something even darker, something ancient. Kun Krasai believed that the creature was a Krasu or a Skinwalker, a shapeshifter that feeds on fear and thrives in cursed lands. But there was more to this haunting. Kun Krasai spoke of an old, forgotten tale, the witch of Doi Suthep, a vengeful spirit of a woman wronged many centuries ago. Betrayed by her village, she cursed the land and all who would come after, summoning dark spirits to do her bidding. Her wrath called the Skinwalker to enforce her curse, to torment and devour any who defied the warnings. Kiet and Mai were desperate. They began burning incense and chanting prayers, but nothing could stop the dread that crept through their home like a thick fog. The sense of being watched grew stronger with each night, and now they saw the creature, its gaunt, skeletal form lurking at the edge of their land, waiting. It no longer ran from their sight. Instead, it stared at them with those glowing, predatory eyes. Then came the night of the full moon. Kiet woke to a blood-curdling scream. Somkai was missing from his bed, and the front door was wide open, swaying in the wind. Outside, the forest was alive with unnatural howls, like a chorus of suffering souls. The whispers returned, louder this time, calling to Kiet in Somkai's voice. "Father, come! I'm lost. Help me!" Grabbing his rifle and lantern, Kiet ran into the night, Mai close behind him. As they followed the sound of their son's voice into the trees, the lantern flickered, casting long shadows that twisted unnaturally around them. The forest seemed to close in on them, its trees groaning as if they were alive, angry at their intrusion. Every step they took echoed with unseen footsteps behind them, though no one was there. As they reached the heart of the woods, they saw Somkai standing in a clearing, his back to them, his body strangely still. "Somkai!" Kiet shouted, but the boy didn't move. Then, from behind the trees, it emerged, the Skinwalker. Its body stretched unnaturally tall, its limbs cracking and bending in ways no human body should. Its face contorted into a grotesque smile, lips pulling back to reveal sharp, yellowed teeth. But the horror didn't end there. Beside the Skinwalker, another figure appeared, a woman, dressed in tattered robes, her face pale and gaunt, with eyes black as night. It was the witch of Doi Suthep, the ancient spirit who had cursed the land. She whispered something inaudible, and the Skinwalker grinned wider. Somkai slowly turned to face his parents, but his eyes were no longer his own. They were black, lifeless pits, filled with the same malevolent energy that radiated from the witch and her beast. "Leave, or suffer," the witch hissed in a voice that chilled the very air. In desperation, Kiet raised his rifle, but before he could pull the trigger, the Skinwalker lunged at him with impossible speed. The creature's hand, now a clawed talon, slashed through the air, knocking the rifle from his hands. The ground beneath them trembled, as if the earth itself recoiled from the darkness consuming it. Mai grabbed Kiet's hand, pulling him back toward the house. As they fled, the whispers followed them, the voices of their children, distorted and mocking. The wind howled through the trees, carrying the eerie laughter of the witch and her cursed servant. They barely made it back to the house, but they knew their son was gone, claimed by the curse, swallowed by the darkness of the forest. The Yantra family left their home the next morning. The village of Ban Mae Klang Luang, once thriving, slowly emptied as word spread of the cursed land. Now, no one dares approach the abandoned ranch near Doi Suthep, and the few who pass through the area say they hear whispers on the wind, calling their names from the trees. Some even claim to have seen a gaunt, grinning figure lurking at the edge of the woods, its eyes glowing in the darkness. And on stormy nights, the wind carries the voice of the witch, forever cursing the land, forever searching for more souls to claim.